Welcome back to the channel, guys. You can see behind me we have a 2000 Harley Davidson in for a detail, and this thing's been sitting for about 6 years in storage, so it's got a lot of oxidation, some mold growing, and we're going to be spending a lot of time on this thing cleaning up. I haven't done any videos on detailing a motorcycle yet on the channel, so I figured this one was going to give me the perfect opportunity to show the steps and techniques that I use for cleaning. So you can see on the bottom of this bag, there's definitely some mold. It's been sitting on there, a little bit on the back of the bags, and some more on this one here. All of the chrome needs to be polished. It's all got some pretty heavy oxidation on there. There's a little bit of pitting, especially up here on the forks, even onto the handlebars a little bit. A little bit more on the chrome here that's going to need to be polished out. So my plan is to get this thing cleaned up first, just so washed, scrub everything down, get rid of all that mildew and mold that's growing on those bags. And then the paint's going to need some polishing, some swirls and marring in the paint that'll need to be polished out. So even though it's a bike, some people might say it doesn't take too long to do. Sometimes these wind up taking more time than a car or a truck. So many nooks and crannies to get into, and when you wind up polishing out all of the chrome, it's just, you're doing everything basically by hand. And I'll show you how, when we do get to the chrome, my process and what I do. The bike has definitely been sitting for some time, and it's going to take a lot of work to get it back to being roadworthy. It's going to need some mechanical work to get it back on the road. It's not running at this time. It was pushed in off a rollback, and the plan is after it gets cleaned up for the owner to get it fired up and back on the road so we can enjoy it this summer. Most bikes that come in aren't as crazy dirty as this one, so if I see that it's not really that dirty, I could do a rinseless or waterless wash on this, or just a quick wipe down, and then start my detail from there. But being that this one has been sitting for so long and there's a lot of junk that's stuck to the wheels and the tires and the paint, it's going to need a good scrub clean. Full rinse on this first, and then I'm going to soak it down with 3D Super Pre-Soak in a foam cannon. Let it sit on there, dwell, break down anything that might be stuck to the paint, or loosen some stuff up, make it a little bit easier to clean so we don't have to get too aggressive on the paint or on the chrome.
These microfiber wash mitt gloves on Amazon, really great purchase. We use them a lot for cleaning wheels, getting between the spokes, but they're also great for washing a motorcycle.
So now that the bike's all washed and semi-dry, I'm not going for perfection super dry on this because there's going to be a few more steps before we get to the final polishing of the paint. I want to work on the chrome first, get all the pitting and the hazing off of that. So what I'll do is I'll use very fine steel wool and a metal polish, and the one that I'm using here is from Chemical Guys, just a heavy metal polish. Polish everything out. I don't wipe anything else off. And then I'm going to come back and rewash the bike. So I'm going to use the least aggressive brush I have, so it's just a wheel brush, and clean off all the chrome. I'm only applying the metal polish by hand. Everything else is just going to be wiped off and washed off after I get done. Okay, so everything is polished out. You can see it's got that haziness to it, and the polish is kind of greasy. So what I'm going to do now is refoam the bottom half, wash all of this and get all of the polishing residue off of the chrome, dry the bike, and then we'll be able to move on to the next step, which will be buffing out the paint itself. Wet after the wash, there's a huge improvement already with the shine. All that mild pitting is removed. The bike looks totally different already, just with a polish of the chrome. I haven't even done anything to the paint yet. Just polished the chrome out, gave it a good wash, got rid of all that mold that was on the sides. But it's definitely looking a lot better already. And I wanted, and I usually do this, I usually remove the saddlebags, but I cannot get them off. They're bolted on. I cannot get them off. I can't get my hand up behind to get the nut off of the bolt. We're just gonna have to make do with what we have here and clean behind them the best we can. Okay, so after the wash and rinse, the second time around to get all the polishing off of the chrome, I dried everything again with compressed air, and then I towel dried, but this is gonna get wiped down again at the end for, you know, the last wipe down after we're done with the paint. But you can see how much better the chrome looks. Actually gives the bike some pop now. Next up on the agenda is going to be polishing the paint. So we'll be breaking out the smaller mini polisher and doing a test spot, figuring out what we're gonna use. The paint's pretty hazy and has some light scratches and some marring in it, but I think it'll shine up nice. Harley paint, from my personal experience, doesn't have a lot of clear on it, so burning through the paint is pretty simple to do if you get carried away. So I don't like to go too crazy with buffers on stock Harley paint. If it was repainted, that would be a different story, but we're gonna be pretty tame when we're polishing this out. All right, so we're on basically the third day of working on this Harley, and not that I was working on it continuously the whole time. I'm kind of just working on it in between customers' vehicles. The nice thing was when this customer with the Harley dropped it off, he said he's in no huge rush. Obviously, it's been sitting for 6 years. He has other bikes that he's gonna ride, so this one, he said, just take your time, fit it in when you can. And customers aren't in a rush on a project like this, so I can take my time. And it also works as kind of a fill-in. If we get done early with something, we could, I could move right over to this and work on it for a little while. Yesterday, I got all of the chrome polished out, everything wiped down. So today I'm hoping I can get it finished. I'm gonna polish out the paint, throw a coat of sealant on it, and I think that'll be basically it. In the meantime, we worked on some other stuff. So I have a 23 Tundra behind me that got our graphene ceramic coating. So I was plugging away at that the last couple days. And then one of our good customers from up the road just dropped off his 01 SS convertible. So that's gonna get clean. We just did his 2002 SS yesterday, same color red. So he picked that up, swapped this one out. Again, he's in no rush, so that's gonna be a fill-in car, kind of in between things. Everything else is looking pretty good. I'll just be using my mini polisher on the tank, the front fender, and then a little bit on the rear fender where I can get to. I'm not gonna take anything apart here. We're just gonna clean in between everything and get it shined up. So we got everything taped off, a couple dabs of 3D1, and we're going to polish this out. So I just taped off all along the edges, just so I can get super close to there and not worry about damaging anything, not only on the bike, but also damaging my pad. This is just a Milwaukee cordless polisher. I got a 3-inch backing plate and 3-inch Lake Country pad. that I'll use on tight places, especially on bikes, but I also use them on cars to get in front bumpers or grills. Works pretty well for me. The haziness that was on this paint's going away pretty quick. There's just some small surface scratches that are in there. For the most part, they're coming out. It's definitely looking a lot better. Definitely waking this paint up, that's for sure. So right there on the tank's a little trouble spot. I don't know if it's a scuff mark or some light surface scratches, but that's what I'm gonna work on now and see if I can get it out with the polisher. Took it right off, so it was just a scuff mark of some sort. But you're starting to see the metallic in the paint starting to pop a little bit, so this thing will definitely be gleaming when it gets out in the sun. It's crazy how much better this bike is looking even just after I washed it. You could tell that it just kind of sat, collected dust, got oxidized, and was neglected for all those years it was in storage. And just a little simple detail with a little bit of polishing and polishing the paint out just woke this bike up, and it looks totally different than how it was when it first showed up here. So FedEx just showed up, dropped off a couple boxes, some detailing supplies I ordered from Detailed Image. Stuff gets here super quick. I mean, like 2 days, it's here. They're in New York, I'm in Pennsylvania, so it's pretty close. Let's check out what I ordered. Things are flying off the shelf now. We're going through a lot of products quick, so I'm probably making new orders every couple weeks, usually like once a month. I'll just get a bulk order of everything, gallon size that I need, and we're using it. So we got some brake buster. I believe I got a couple gallons of that. I got some P&S dress tire finish. Haven't used this one yet. I have 3D Magic Blue tire shine, and we're also using Superior Products coverall, but I haven't tried this one yet. It was on sale, so I figured I'd give it a shot. So we got a gallon of that. And what else is in this box? Some all-purpose cleaner, Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner. 2 gallons of that to replenish my shelf here. So I have a wholesale account set up with Detailed Image, and if you do have a detailing business, I mentioned this in my other videos, pretty smart thing to do because you get discounts for having your business set up through them. And they have different tiers. Depending on how much you spend yearly, you'll move up in the tiers for higher discounts. If you're doing it for a living, you're trying to save as much money as you can on products, and the discounts are great, and it's definitely worth it. For years, I just ordered randomly from wherever, Amazon or other detailing companies, and didn't have my business account set up with them, and I was losing money all those years. So I got some carpet bomber from P&S. I'm running a little low on that. Got another brake buster here, another gallon. Another carpet bomber. Another brake buster. Just put the order in like 2 days ago, and I already forgot like what I needed to get. So it's like kind of like Christmas morning opening up this stuff here. Iron Decon from Meguiar's. And the last box here. Some surface prep for coatings and putting sealants on, prep the surface, get the polishing residue off, some bead maker, and some 303. Got 2 gallons of that, and then some IGL coating towels. I use these for my first wipe when I'm putting a coating on. This will be my first wipe to level everything out, and then I come back with another clean microfiber. But these are great too. So, got a lot of stuff to restock the shelves with. And then I also got a couple new vacuum attachments from For Real. So they updated these a little bit. So these are like their second generation, if you want to call it, of their attachment for pet hair. The first ones, I don't know if I have any over here. Let me see. So this is what the first generation looked like, and they kind of wear out pretty quick. They work awesome, but they definitely wear out quick. This one looks like it has longer rubber bristles on here. Maybe they're a little bit thicker, but hopefully they last a little bit longer. This one's pretty worn down. It got used and abused today. We had actually this whole week, we had a few vehicles come in. I feel like it's at least 1 out of 3 vehicles that come in have a lot of pet hair, and these things get a workout. They work awesome, but they do get worn out pretty quick. So hopefully the new updated version lasts a little bit longer. The other cool thing, if you spend a certain amount on your products, there's different levels where you put coupon codes in, wholesale codes. And I can't tell you how many detailed image t-shirts I have for spending a certain amount of money. That's where I got my banner from. You can get stickers. And again, it depends on how much you spend. So obviously the smaller items like stickers are going to be, if you just spend maybe say $100. But you just look up the coupon code, put it in, you can get some free stuff. So I got a kneeling pad. I already have a couple of these, but they get used pretty hard, so I figured, why not? It's free, might as well get one. So that's, gotta put all this stuff away now. So I use P&S leather treatment. So it's a conditioner to put on. We put it on the interiors of vehicles as well. But I'm gonna put it on the saddlebags, on the seats, this little case here. And the leather is not like super dry. It's still pretty soft, except for the saddlebag. It's a little beat up, like I showed you the scuff mark here. We'll just kind of let it sit in a little bit, and then I will come back and just wipe everything off, make it look nice and clean. And I do not put anything crazy other than this on the seats. I don't want the seats to be slippery, so when they get on here to ride it, I don't want them sliding all over the place. So we don't really lather it up too much. I'm imagining though this is gonna soak a lot of this in right away, just because it is pretty dry and neglected. I'll kind of just work it into the leather, and then I'll let it sit for a while, come back and wipe off any excess. I might have to do multiple wipes with this. We'll just see how it looks after I go around the bike. Definitely looks a lot better already though. There's hardly any excess left on the surface. It just sucked it right in. So I'm thinking we'll come around here and put it on a little thicker the second time, let it sit. It might be 2-3 times before we get it looking good. The seat I'll probably just do one initial wipe, because like I said, I don't want to get that too slippery. All right, I think we'll let that soak in for a while. Go back to wiping down the rest of the bike, getting it cleaned up, and maybe apply another coating or two on here, and I'm sure that's going to get drawn in, especially on these bags. So we got everything wiped down. On the engine compartment itself, I just used an undercarriage spray, just all the black part, like the frame, to wipe that down and just give it a finished look. Last thing I'm going to do, Technician's Choice, this is their Tech 582 ceramic spray. Just going to use this to give a finished wipe on everything, the paint, all the chrome, get everything glossed up and looking good, and this bike will be finished. So I had every intention of polishing these spokes out, and I think they're just too far gone, or I'm just not really seeing great results where I'm going to spend hours on this wheel and it's really not going to make a huge difference. I went around the outside lip of the wheel and polished that out, got a lot of the pitting off of it. There's a couple larger areas of rust that are starting. I'm just going to show you my little strategy here for cleaning spokes. Now, I've done this on a few bikes, and normally they're not in this kind of condition. They just need a little bit of a maintenance polish. So what I do is just cut a microfiber towel, just cut a section off, and I'll put a little bit of polish on there, work it in, and just find a spoke. I'll concentrate on this one here, and I just run this towel through, and now I could just use my leverage to polish the actual spoke itself. So this is what I would do going around the whole entire wheel. Very, very time consuming, but I got great results on some wheels that weren't really that neglected. So this one here that I just polished, I'll just wipe off the polishing residue, and I'm really not seeing a huge difference between this one and that one. Maybe a little bit, but like I said, the amount of time that I would have into these wheels to just get not even shine, but just a little bit of the surface looking better, it's just not going to be worth it. So I can't get into the middle of the wheel. It's just too difficult to do that. If the wheel was off of the bike, it'd be a different story. I could lay it on a table and maybe work it a little better, but it's just too difficult to get to this. And I'm just going to give it a final wipe down and call it a day on the wheel. All right, so this Harley is back to being roadworthy again, and hopefully the owner can get it back home and get it up and running and then be able to enjoy it. So this thing isn't 100% mint, but it looks a whole heck of a lot better, especially the chrome after it's polished out, and the paint even woke up a little bit, as we could say. A little cloudy today. I wanted to get it outside and show you the metallic in the paint as the sun was shining down on it, but it's raining again, so I feel like I live in Seattle or something. I don't know. It's like every day, every time I make a video, it's raining. But this thing is cleaned up. We'll move it over to the side, and the customer will be able to come pick it up. I'm guessing he's going to come back with his rollback, get it home, and like I said, hopefully get it back up and running. So thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we will see you on the next one.